Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore Podcast, the podcast that reviews movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 734. As always, it is the Nerd Chicana here to host the show, alongside my wonderful co-host, Brand Young Yoda.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a wonderful Friday night, and that is right, 734 episodes, and we're finally reviewing Citizen Kane.
Yep, live early and ad-free over on patreon.com/nerdcore, where you can get this episode live early and ad-free without the ad of SeatGeek before anybody else gets to watch it on Saturday at 12 p.m. Central Time. We're here to discuss Orson Welles' Citizen Kane, but before we can get into that, Brad, how are you?
Doing well, Raul. Doing well. I am currently on vacation, so that is quite nice. Other than that, kind of an uneventful day. Had a meeting. That was about it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice, man. I have something fucking stuck in my teeth.
I did watch the newest episode, A Skeleton Crew, so I did do that.
Nice. I watched Skeleton Crew. I went to the mall.
You watched the second episode, by the way.
Yeah. Now I have something stuck in my teeth from eating Mediterranean, so I don't know what the fuck it is. Brad, I bought some new jeans today, and I went down from 36 to 32.
Oh, excellent,
Yeah,
sir.
it's been a long time since I've been at 32. Since 2015, 2016. Yep. So that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Seeing results.
Yes, well, these results might have been a little past this. Sorry, Brad, I don't mean to be on. What's it called? I hadn't bought new jeans in a long time. So I might have been a 34, maybe a 33. I don't know. And I just didn't know because I hadn't been wearing, But yeah, I started to notice a big change when my pants just started to fall down more often. Like it's just
That's what belts are for.
Yeah, even with my belt. Yep.
It was always a nice feeling when you ran out of holes for the belt. You're like, huh.
Fuck. You're like
more holes in the belt.
Yeah. But I mean, other than that, Brad, everything's just been chill here. Just pretty easy day. Brad, before we actually do this review, I think because what's it called? Let's just go into a little mini conversation here. Why this movie, Brad? Why did you select it now?
Because I've never seen it, and we've been doing this podcast for close to 8 years, if not 8 years.
Yep.
And I've always wondered why we've never done one of the biggest movies ever made in 8 years. So I figured with a final movie for this year.
Yes.
This is the final movie, technically.
The final extra review of the year.
I would bring out Citizen Kane and Daddy Orson to the table because I believe he deserves the seat. If I'm going to do a last movie for a year, it might as well be Citizen Kane.
Brad, I don't disagree with that, Brad. I really don't. If it's going to be the last extra review, then yeah, the last actual review will be the mini pod for the patrons. But
yes, but that's for the Patreons. You got to pay $5 for that. But this is the last free one from us.
No, the theme review on Monday.
Well,
the last non-theme review. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
The last non-theme episode of the year.
That I get to choose.
Yeah. It's this one. And Brad, I have never seen this film either.
Yeah, exactly. I've always heard about it.
Yeah, I've been shown clips because of film school. Mm-hmm. And then the Citizen Kane 4K came out, and I was like, oh, I want this. And I was like, but I've never seen Citizen Kane. What if I don't like it? And I just kept putting it off. And even when I wanted to actually get it, like I would always find the Blu-ray, but not the 4K. And then it was like, damn, I don't got $30 to drop on this like this, man. And then just other stuff got in the way. And I was like, you know what, man, I'm going to buy it. But I want it. When I buy it is when I want to watch it for the first time. And then Brad selected the movie.
But here's the thing, though. After learning what I learned just now before we went on the podcast, the 1940s were different.
Very.
The scale of this movie is huge, and they gave a 23-year-old who had never directed a movie before the money to make this.
which is fucking amazing. Because now that is not a thing.
It will not happen. Like they will give you money, but like a Kevin Smith. A Kevin Smith had to make his own fucking low budget movie, and that's when he got more movies after that.
Yeah.
That's usually how it runs from, unknowns. So this is just in the realm, just after watching this, going, did Orson Welles had to know someone, right? Like there had to be a father in the.
But even then, Brad, it was $839,000,
which is a lot of money in 1941.
Yep.
That's a lot of money.
Yep. Adjusted for inflation, bro. That shit's a lot of fucking money.
Also, 23 years old. Orson Welles was a weird person. Because at 23 years old, I was not thinking about any of this that is shown in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. But, hey, man.
Except maybe the dancing girls. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. But what a way that this came to be, Brad. It really is pretty crazy, man. It is really crazy. It's like just the whole story behind this is fucking incredible, especially everything with Mankiewicz. Which, if you've seen Mank, you know kind of the idea of what happened with Mankiewicz. But yeah, man, it's fucking crazy, bro. But Brad, yeah, I think we should just do it, man. Let's go ahead and talk about this, man. I'm just glad that we finally got to watch this. This has been for many years considered to be the greatest film of all time, the greatest film ever made, and we had never watched it before, and we never fucking did a review. And today it changes, Brad, because we finally get to talk about it. So
we finally watched it. We get to do a review, and I still don't know why we haven't done it up to this point.
Yep.
Considering we review movies.
Yep. And with that, we'll be back for this review after these words from our sponsors. Today's episode of the Nerd Court is brought to you by SeatGeek. Whether you want to see your favorite band, sports team, or comedian, SeatGeek has you covered. We're proud to be partnering with SeatGeek to offer you $10 off your first order with code TheNerdCourt. That's $10 off your first order at SeatGeek.com with code THENERDCORPS. So take a seat at your next live event with SeatGeek. Thank you. Now let's get back to today's video. Brad, let's go ahead and introduce them to Citizen Kane.
All right, Rome. Citizen
Kane.
A
lot to read.
I've got a lot to read. Citizen Kane is a 1941 American drama film directed by, produced by, and starring Orson Welles, if you didn't know. Welles and Herman J. Mankiewicz wrote the screenplay. The picture was Welles' first feature film. Citizen Kane is frequently cited as the greatest film ever made. For 40 years, 5 decennial polls, 1962, 72, 82, 92, and 2002, it stood at number 1 in the British Film Institute's Sight and Sound Decennial Poll of Critics, and it topped the American Film Institute's 100 Years, 100 Movies list in 1998, as well as its 2007 update. The film was nominated for Academy Awards in 9 categories, and it won for Best Writing, Original Screenplay, by Mankiewicz and Welles. Citizen Kane is praised for Greg Toland's cinematography, Robert Wise's editing, Bernard Herrmann's music, and its narrative structure, all of which have been considered innovative and precedent-setting. The quasi-biographical film examines the life and legacy of Charles Foster Kane, played by Welles, a composite character based on American media barons William Randolph Hearst and Joseph Pulitzer, Chicago tycoons Samuel Insull and Harold McCormick, as well as aspects of the screenwriter's own lives. Upon its release, Hearst prohibited any mention of the film in his newspapers. After the Broadway success of Welles, Mercury Theater, and the controversial 1938 radio broadcast The War of the Worlds on the Mercury Theater on the air, Welles was courted by Hollywood. He signed a contract with RKO Pictures in 1939. Although it was unusual for an untried director, he was given freedom to develop his own story, to use his own cast and crew, and to have final cut privilege. Following 2 abortive attempts to get a project off the ground, he wrote the screenplay for Citizen Kane. Excuse me. I'm still getting over a cold. Collaborating with Herman J. Mankiewicz, principal photography took place in 1940, the same year its innovative trailer was shown, and the film was released in 1941. Although it was a critical success, Citizen Kane failed to recoup its costs at the box office. The film faded from view after its release, but it returned to public attention when it was praised by French critics such as André Bazin, and re-released in 1956. In 1958, the film was voted number 9 on the prestigious Brussels 12 list, at the 1958 World Expo. The Library of Congress selected Citizen Kane as an inductee of the 1989 inaugural group of 25 films for preservation in the United States National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Roger Ebert wrote of it, "Its surface is as much fun as any movie ever made. Its depths surpass understanding. I have analyzed it a shot at a time with more than 30 groups, and together we have seen, I believe, pretty much everything that is there on the screen. The more clearly I can see its physical manifestation, the more I am stirred by its mystery." So what we got here? I will go with starring because I don't think they read off any other stars other than Orson Welles. Starring Orson Welles, Joseph Cotten, Dorothy Cominor.
No, I think it is pretty important to put there the screenplay because I mean, there's that whole fucking thing. Like it's whose script
Mankiewicz
is
and
this?
Orson Welles. I mean, they won for best screenplay, so we have covered that. Dorothy Cummingor, Everett Sloane, Ray Collins, George Couler, Agnes Moorehead, Paul Stewart, Ruth Warwick, Erskine Sanford, William Allen. Cinematography by Greg Tolan, edited by Robert Wise, music by Bernard Herrmann, and a running time 119 minutes. Budget $839,727. Box office $1.8 million after re-release.
All right, Brad. How much is that? Okay, I'm gonna try to check here. 839,000 in 1940.
41.
Well, it was shot in 40.
Okay.
Yeah. Or today. Yeah. 40 to 2024. Is that going to tell me? Oh. Jesus fucking Christ. 18,382,850 bro.
So honestly, not that big of a budget.
That's a massive budget. That's
in today's dollars though. If you think about it. How many movies get made for $18 million now?
Brad, that's almost around what fucking Joker 1 got.
Yeah, and how much did the Batman go? How many?
150 to 200 mil.
Yeah, so 18 million is kind of a drop in the bucket. You think about it.
Brad, hold on, Brad.
In today's dollars, it is.
Just because you brought it up to me earlier. Okay, that's not gonna give me. Okay, what did they give fucking Eggers for Nosferatu? Let's see.
$1. Probably more than that. Eggers gets money.
No, I don't see any budget. God fucking damn it. The Witch.
The Vivitch.
The Vivitch got 4 million.
Yeah, but Eggers can make also that's a horror film. Horror films are in a different class, and you know this.
Okay. 11 million for the what's it called? For the Lighthouse. 70 to 90 for what's it called? Okay. So basically roughly around what fucking Lighthouse got, Brad.
Yeah.
Like around that corner, Brad. I still think that is a crazy amount of money to give somebody who's never made a fucking film.
Oh, no, that is crazy to give a 23-year-old.
That is a massive budget.
With open reign to do what he wants. That is massive. Especially to a kid who got on the radio and scared a whole population to death thinking that there was space invaders. And they thought, this is a good idea. Just let's give him a shit ton
plus
of
money. the whole controversy of whose script is this? Is it Mank's script? Is it Wells' script? And because Manx wasn't gonna have credit on this film, and then Mankiewicz did get the credit in this film, and Brad.
I mean that was I mean we had the whole Batman controversy where they finally after his death for 30 years had to credit him.
Yeah. Brad, this is your film. What are your initial thoughts on Citizen Kane?
Rosebud. I told you I had to say it. I will again I will again say what I told you off air before this, when I texted you after I watched it. This movie is massive. The scale of this movie is massive. The story is intriguing. There is reason this has been called the greatest film ever made. Is it my favorite film? No. But this being made in 1941 by a 23-year-old with free reign to spend money, and he made something that caught the attention of so many people through so many years, and still today catches the attention. And not only that, he plays in the film himself, and he is amazing in the film. I think the movie's perfect. I think it's one of those that is a foundational movie, and I think a lot of other movies, especially like a blockbuster, this might be one of the original blockbusters. It's just huge to me. It's just massive. And I don't know, there's very few movies where I go like, this is ridiculous. Like he had a goddamn fireplace bigger than my house. The cinematography wise, when they say that, yes, you can tell by the music and the cinematography and the framing, they were doing things different. Orson had a different eye during this time than what most movie makers were doing. So that's why I think I would call this a perfect movie.
So I'll go ahead and say this. Citizen Kane is not the greatest film ever made.
Not in my
not anymore.
Opinion.
Not anymore.
No. Well, not even.
But it sure as fucking hell was the greatest film made up until the 1970s. If I'm being fucking honest with you.
I mean, personal opinions aside, sure.
If we're going up until you have Godfather, Stalker, you have all these incredible films that come after.
Well, I'm thinking Ikiru, but that's
yeah. Oh, true. Yeah, but
Kurosawa, like if we're talking American cinema, sure.
But this truly is one of the biggest pinnacles of American cinema, and to me, it's incredible. I understand 100% understand why people thought this was the greatest film ever made for so long. Because it is revolutionizing the way that people even looked at film at the time. Like, framing. Like, the framing is incredible. I mean...
I have to mention the sound quality. The speech he gives is electrifying in that.
Throughout so much of this film, Charles is towering over everybody. He's towering over everybody, but when he eventually meets his self-destructive demise... he's small. Mm-hmm. People are over him. The acting is incredible. This is easily Orson Welles' greatest performance he's ever done.
Easily. And it was his technically first.
Well, he was mostly a stage actor.
We don't consider radio.
Yeah. Writing is just amazing. It's just this like, even if I'm looking at it with eyes from 1941 or eyes of 2024, I still think that this is an incredible film. It is fucking perfect, Brad. The editing, holy shit, the fucking editing, man.
The fading in and out.
Fading in and out, quick cuts.
I think they were doing that back in the day, really.
They were not. And I was amazed. I was like, wow, I can't believe I've never seen this film before, Brad. Like I've never, sat down to really experience what Orson Welles was doing here because I'm such a big fan of what Orson did. We did a whole fucking Orson month, Brad.
Also, did you see the Indiana Jones scene at the end?
No. What?
The end. Like it's the scene from Indiana Jones. Spielberg stole the shit. When they zoom out and it's all this shit. That's the Indiana Jones scene.
Yeah. It's just, man, like, and then the performances from just not Orson, but the women involved as well. They're really fucking good in this movie, man. I was just fully immersed into everything about this movie, Brad. I couldn't believe it, man. And I was like, dude, like this movie is this fucking good, dude? Like it really is. It's not. There's no smoke going up its ass, bro. Like this really is.
I think all
amazing.
I think Joseph Cotton in this also does great as
Yeah.
Orson's, I guess, frenemy, if you want to put it
Oh
that way.
yeah.
Yeah, I think he does amazing in that. And then I just love the story behind all this is Orson wants love. He can't give love, but he wants
Mm-hmm.
to receive love because his mother basically sold him to a bank.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Just, I absolutely love that scene. It's like, oh, like Charles, you ready to go? It's like,
Like,
you're gonna be
get
living
him the
with
fuck out so I get my 50 grand a year, you drunkard.
yeah. And he also ended up just like fucking like showing that like he ended up like pretty much fucking over that guy too. Like
Pretty
he's like
much.
just buys the fucking newspaper from him and
He
then
just wants the
makes it into
newspaper to
this
have the newspaper.
massive thing, and he ends up becoming a government official.
But it's also he has these ideals when he first begins with the newspaper, and all that's thrown away by the end. Power absolutely corrupts him. Money absolutely corrupts
Uh-huh.
because as they've said, he can't show love, but he wants to receive love,
Yep.
and so he tries to run, as a politician. But he doesn't quite understand that world and how that world worked, especially at that time.
Yeah.
And it bites him in the ass. Which
And then he shoots himself in the foot.
most of the stuff that he goes after ends up biting him in the ass.
Yeah. The singer bites him in the ass.
Yep. He
Government.
builds a whole freaking opera house for her.
Mm-hmm. And she doesn't even want to sing.
No. I mean, she literally tries to kill herself.
Uh-huh. What's it called? The government position bites him in the ass. Like literally, everything about this just bites him in the ass. If there wasn't multiple things that causes Orson's demise, I'd go as far to say that this is a bit of a noir.
Yeah.
A bit of it. If it wasn't the fact that there's a lot of multiple things that are causing this demise, and the fact that there isn't really much of a detective story here, but like you could say that we have about 1 or 2 femme fatales in this film.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have the president's niece in his first marriage.
The singer?
Which I really love. I mean, it's not a long scene, but it's a long enough scene where you can see that marriage over time is totally just breaking apart. Just because he's focused on his paper. And that's all he's focused on. And then he meets the singer. And I don't even know. I mean, I would imagine he's having an affair with the singer. That's what they put in the paper. But it's never explicitly shown he's having an affair. But you probably think he did.
It pretty much is. I mean, but you also just, what's it called? See how the media, especially, like it's just crazy how you see how like they want to, like, media can twist things as well.
Oh yeah, they want the drama.
They were fully ready to put those quotation marks on Singer, making it seem like he was with a prostitute.
Yeah, and they which of course pisses off to the point he wants her to sing.
Yeah,
because he feels like he's been made a fool, and he wants the public to love him again after this. And I mean, it's a very, very interesting, it's a tragic comedy in a way. Because he spends so much time trying to get adoration and love, only to end up with none of it. And his last words are for his sled and his childhood that he misses, because before all this, he was actually happy.
Yep. But man, I think this movie is incredible, Brad. It truly is one of the greatest films of all time. It is one of my favorite films of all time. It is my favorite Orson Welles film. It's my favorite Orson Welles performance. This movie's fucking incredible, dude. I couldn't believe that I put it off for this long, but it's revolutionary. It was incredibly ahead of its time. Very ahead of its time.
Just the camera work and the cinematography, just that alone. And then the sound and the editing. I mean, you don't even have to put the acting in there. Like, all that was ahead of its time in this. And then I don't know if they built all this on sound stages, or
they had to, Brad. Ain't no freaking way.
I don't know, because is there a McMansion out there with a garage size fireplace? I don't know. But the overall look of it, you were thinking like, oh, this guy's not rich. He's rich. He's got enough where he could live in the fireplace. That is somebody's apartment in New York.
Yeah. Well, man, Brad, what's your final verdict?
It's perfect. 10 out of 10.
I'm there with you, Brad. This is a perfect 10 out of 10, Brad. This to me is just, it's massively important. The fact that people probably don't want to watch it because they've been told like, oh, it's barely supposed to be the greatest movie of all time, but it's not because this is the greatest movie of all time.
And I mean, it is very hyped up, and that could have been why it'd been like, you don't want to watch something and just kind of be let down by it. And there has been a lot of praise for this movie for a long time. As you can see.
Yep. But man, I was just amazed, Brad. I really was. I don't think like I've been blown away by a movie like this for a while now. But I just since the substance. But I was so enthralled. I was completely immersed by everything that was going on in here, and I was so surprised at how much this was flowing for 2 hours. How well it flowed. I was like, I think I stopped at a certain point, and I was like, oh shit, we're like barely halfway through. I was like, okay, this is going really well. Like we're almost done with this. I don't really feel like a lot of time has passed, but I also feel like enough time has passed as well. Yeah. So,
well, yeah. And I think a lot of what's said in this is specifically about like media and just, what is shown to the public and what's told to the public. I still think that's relevant today.
Yeah. Brad, with that said, that concludes our review of Citizen Kane. We thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, follow along with us on nerdcore.com, Twitter at the Nerdcore_, Instagram, Letterboxd, TikTok at the Nerdcore, Patreon.com/the Nerdcore for episodes as low as $1. You get them live, early, and ad-free on Patreon.com/Nerdcore. Everybody else on Saturdays and on Tuesdays get these episodes with an ad, and they don't get to chat with us in the chat like Stacey would have been able to if he would have been in here. But I'm pretty sure Stacey has not seen Citizen Kane, so he probably didn't want to hear this review. Brad, we thank you them so much. As always, join our Discord. Our link is in the description below, where you can talk with us about movies, talking about Citizen Kane, Orson Welles, whatever you want. You can go in there and talk with us about it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure you leave a comment on the video. Tell us what you think about this film. What do you think about Orson Welles? And do you believe that for a good period of time, was Citizen Kane the greatest film ever made? Tell us in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you don't miss another review that drops on this channel. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app of choice, make sure you're following us and you leave us a 5-star review. All that helps us out so freaking much. As always, we want to thank our wonderful, wonderful patrons. Without them, none of this is possible, and we aren't doing it the way we can, and we appreciate them so much, Brad. Let them know where they can find our wonderful executive producer, Shane.
You can follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/XSRK or on Twitter at ThriftedIL, or go buy something from the Suppy God at dpop.com/PrisonCityVintage.
Yeah, man, of course. With that being said, Brad, what we got left is a last Howard Hawks review for the public, and then our mini pod. After that, my friends, we're going to be gone. It's going to be pretty much lights out until I'm back from Mexico. Hopefully that's on the 6th. If it's not, we'll have to push something back. We're going to have to push a lot of stuff back. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for joining us. And Brad, let's go ahead and send them out of here.
All right, Raul. Thank you for being host as always. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters. Thank you to all those who join us in our chats, future chats. We appreciate each and every one of you. And to end this episode, all I got to say is Rosebud. Young Yoda out.
Damn straight.